Adventures of Irvingman!
Today, it's common practice when you start or end a television season to make sure the last episode leaves them wanting more, maybe a cliffhanger or some such, and then to make sure your season premiere is as big a hit as you can make it. As we've seen, that wasn't necessarily the case in this series. Now, for this show it makes sense because the final color episode wasn't necessarily the end of the viewing season. The average season for a TV show was anywhere from 26 to 33 episodes. Superman fell into the 26 category. The first season had a full complement of 26 black and white episodes. But somebody among the higher-ups could see the future and knew that color TV was going to be the next big thing. They decided to get this show in on the ground floor, especially since it was popular enough that everybody knew it would be in syndication for a long, long time. Little did they know. So the powers that be made the switch. Thing is, color equipment was brand new and expensive doesn't even begin to touch it. Just a camera cost around $50,000, equivalent to over $500,000 today. If you went with the basic 3-camera setup that's still common today, you've got $1.5 million sunk into the project and you haven't even shot a scene yet. The studio couldn't absorb that kind of cost, at least not for a full season's worth of episodes. The solution? Film 13 episodes in color, then fill in the rest of the season with black and white reruns from the first season. This is why we never saw a big finish type season ender. Nobody down on the production floor or in the writing room had any idea what the season ender was going to be, but it probably wasn't something we shot this season. That said, they could make sure we had a really good season opener to grab our attention for the next several weeks. And here it is.
That would make such a beautiful engagement ring.
It sure doesn't look like it. It'd be hard to steal, does it, Miss Lane?
Well, it looks easy, Jim, but all these display cases are wired to an alarm system.
It's a famous gem and it's on loan to the museum. Jimmy and Lois are doing a story on it and the museum. Jimmy kind of likes that suit of armor in the corner, so he wants to get a picture of it. And I don't know about you, but I'm noticing something strange about it.
I could use one of those myself when the chief goes on a rampage.
Ah, it's my last bulb, too. Hey, look what I found on the floor.
Why, it's a cufflink.
Not the kind you buy in stores, either. I bet this one was specially made.
Cufflinks are sort of a thing for the more well-to-do nowadays, but once upon a time, anybody who had a suit used them. You have buttons on your sleeves? How gauche. Thing is, even if they're costume jewelry, those things can be expensive and frankly unnecessary. As the middle class rose in rank and the baby boomer generation came along, we looked at those things and said, why? Won't a button do just as well? And they tend to be sewn on so they're harder to lose. And the thing about buttons is, if you lose one, you go buy another one and sew it on. If you lose a cufflink, the other one is useless. You can't buy just one, you can only buy them in pairs. So if you're prone to losing things like I am, you end up with about 35 single cufflinks laying around getting in the way because you can't use any of them because there's only one. And you can't wear a mismatch. That would just be, hold on, why would that be bad? Hey, put a swan on this sleeve and a rhinoceros on that one, why not? If I could ever bring myself to put on a suit, that could be fun.
Sorry, folks, closing time.
Oh, we're all through. Thank you.
The guard will take one more look around and then go on about his business. As I said, there was something strange about that armor, which is to say it was standing up by itself. That's chainmail. It fits loosely over the knight's limbs and body so he can move more freely than a knight could with solid armor. That means something or somebody had to be inside it already. Too bad Jimmy didn't have Lois take a peek at the guy's face for the picture. By the time the guard appears, he's back on his pedestal like a good little statue.
Kent speaking. What? Well, of course Lane and Olson work here. Well, that's ridiculous. It's impossible. They couldn't have stolen it. Of course. I'll take care of it right away.
Jimmy and Lois were the last ones there, so of course somebody thinks they stole the gem, even though the guard ushered them out, locked the door behind them, and after the theft, he found the door still locked. Obviously, that cufflink was really a spare key to the door, and Jimmy used it. Lock him up.
Inspector, you've known us for years. We wouldn't do a thing like that.
Jeepers, no. We even talked about how the display case was wired to the burglar alarm.
So you were thinking about how to steal it.
Well, no, I mean, Jimmy thought it would be easy, and I
Now,
would...
see, Inspector? She's practically confessed.
If you want to hear what she's really trying to say, shut up and stop interrupting her. And Henderson, stop letting him. Who's in charge here, you or him? Henderson often leaves you wondering about that.
I'm afraid you'll have to come downtown.
Not yet, Inspector.
Are we glad to see you?
I hate to do it, Superman, but all the evidence seems to point
Just what evidence is there, Inspector?
I'll tell you, Superman. These two were the last in the room. When I found the jewels missing, I had them stopped at the door. We searched them and found this in Mr. Olson's film kit.
Because two experienced reporters who have worked any number of crime stories are stupid enough to smash a case they know is wired and then just try to waltz out the door with the loot in their pocket. I repeat, Henderson, who's in charge here? It sure ain't you, so it's a good thing Superman appeared.
That's right, Superman. But I didn't put it there, I don't think.
Got there somehow, Jimmy. May I see this, sir? Thank you.
You've ruined it.
Yep, he ruined a cheap paste imitation. Naughty, naughty. So it looks like the thief got away with the real gem, right?
But I don't understand.
Somehow, Miss Lane, we've started something again.
If this doesn't make sense so far, it's just the beginning. I found this under the cushion, the real jewel.
So rather than do actual police work, examine the scene, check for clues and all that, Henderson just followed this rent-a-cop's lead and assumed that A, the gem in Jimmy's kit was real, and B, they stole it because they were there. He is having a seriously off day. And since the gem is there, the only crime is minor vandalism. And what kind of idiot is required to think Lois and Jimmy did that?
Miss Lane, let's get out of here while we're ahead.
I have a feeling the look on that guard's face just answered my question.
Oh, I hate to bring this up, but you know that suit of armor standing in the corner?
Yeah.
It isn't standing in the corner anymore.
What?
And honest, we didn't take that either.
He found that tiny fake gem in Jimmy's kit, but missed the fact that a 6-foot-tall suit of armor disappeared. I hope the job gives him good insurance because I think he needs an eye exam. Earlier, we watched the suit of armor slip out the back door and into a waiting car. We have a castle-type structure, guys in full medieval knight armor, secret passages. The only thing missing is Angus the swamp monster, and we've got an episode of Lost in Space.
You did it, Sir Arthur, you did it. A perfect fit. A work of art. The very earliest style.
It is rather dashing, isn't it?
It's hardly the word for it. Wait till we polish you up. Such a daring exploit deserves a reward. I move that Sir Arthur be named official king of the Society for the Preservation of Knighthood and Dragons.
You know, in my head, I'm still somewhere between 18 and 25. My body thinks differently. This silly thing thinks I'm those guys' age. Yeah, let me assure you, that's the only thing these guys and I have in common. And even that is a little embarrassing. These 4 old farts have been playing dress-up and trying to talk like they think King Arthur's court would. Thing is, the time period that the Arthurian legends take place in is kind of fluid. The best we can gather from archaeology and Old English literature, the idea began way back before the 10th century. So typical speech of that time would have sounded something like this.
What, we Gardena, in yer dagum, theod kuninga, thrum je frunon, hutha adelingas, ellen fremedon, oft schild cheving, shaden a thratum, monogam machtham, mer a settler oft tach.
Picture these guys talking like that and trying to understand each other. I can't.
And deeply disturbed.
Nothing went wrong, did it, Sir Arthur?
Yes. I had no trouble with the jewel. Our chauffeur, pardon me, Our squire slipped the imitation jewel into Mr. Olson's kit as they entered the museum. And as planned, the supposed theft created a diversion, allowing me to escape.
So what's the problem? He explains about the cufflink and how Jimmy picked it up. It's an official society cufflink that they all had specially made, so the police are sure to trace it back to him and expose the society. Guys, next time go with a laminated membership card you can keep in your wallet. Much safer and cheaper.
There's only one thing for it. We must go on a quest.
That's it. A quest for the golden link.
Sir Arthur, our duty is clear. We leave at once.
Such loyalty. The true spirit of the Round Table. One for all, and all for one.
Spoken like a true English knight who moved to France and joined the Three Musketeers. King Arthur will stay here while his loyal knights carry out their quest in his name. His name was Marshall Bradford, and there's precious little information about him out there. He was born in 1885 and acted in movies and TV from 1942 to 1966. He died in 1971 at the age of 85. I haven't seen any of his other material that I can recall, but I know one thing: he does the crazy eyes way too convincingly. And one other thing. Is it just me, or does that smile make him look a lot like Lyle Wagner?
What are you doing staying at Clark's apartment?
Oh, I've been staying there while my mother's out of town.
Oh, I can imagine the two of you doing your own cooking.
Oh, it's not bad once you get used to the indigestion.
It's called eating out, Lois. You go to a place and pay someone else to do the cooking. That's how guys handle it.
Hey. This thing's not even running.
Well, let's use the freight elevator. Come on.
They should ask a few more questions, like call the building super and ask why the elevator isn't running. But they're too preoccupied with going home, or to Clark's place, to think about that.
We have a car waiting.
Thanks just the same, but we're walking.
We insist.
Haven't we met you somewhere before?
That doesn't make any difference. Will you step into the car, please?
Well, this is the silliest thing I ever heard of. A suit of armor with a coat on.
Correction. 3 suits of armor with coats on.
Oh, well, that's different, I guess. 1 suit of armor with a coat is silly, but 3 is different.
What do you think, Miss Lane? It's a cinch we can outrun these guys.
Well, of course we can, Jim, but we might miss a good story. Besides, what girl wouldn't want to date 3 nights in a row?
The knights blindfold them, put them in the car, and take them to King Arthur.
Oh, golly, we're in another museum.
I demand to know what this is all about. This is the 20th century, and there aren't any such things as knights anymore.
In here is the 12th century.
That's why you're using electric lights and gas-powered cars, right? And apparently I was mistaken. 12th century English sounded something like this.
Sithen the sage and the Assot was saced at Troy, the Borg Britanid and Brent to Brondus and Ascus. The tulk that the Tromus of Trazen there wrought was treated for his treachery, the truest on earthe.
I still can't picture these old coots understanding each other. Jimmy's decided to have some fun with them.
Now, Mr. Olson, where do you live?
In yon fen. By the nest at Loch Vale.
I've listened to it several times, and I'm sure he said in yon fen. A fen is a swamp, usually an exceptionally smelly one. He's saying he's Shrek's grandfather.
In other words, in Mr. Kent's apartment at the Standish Arms.
And I guess Sir Arthur doesn't like ogres.
Is that where you left the cufflink?
The cufflink, of course. That's what they want.
Then you do understand, fair lady.
I don't know where it is. In all the confusion, I forget what I did with it.
I warn you, young varlet, I must have a better answer.
Tell him, Jim, please.
I can't, Miss Lane. I really don't know where it is.
I find that hard to believe.
He's standing there in medieval armor, waving a sword and talking like the 18th century, pretending it's the 12th, and he finds something hard to believe.
Right.
He says some time in the dungeon will loosen your tongue. The others protest, but he's the king.
Now, Miss Lane, the same for you.
Oh, I say, Sir Arthur, that's strictly against the code of the Round Table.
It really is, sir. Section 2, Article 1 distinctly states that all women must be treated gallantly.
My error. I'm sorry.
I thought the king didn't make mistakes. Maybe you guys should rethink that coronation.
Then I don't have to go into the dungeon?
Certainly. but you get to walk down the stairs.
How gallant. And considering the way that guy cited their code book, I'm guessing at least one of them is a lawyer. No regular person could come up with a structure that convoluted. You got to go to school for that.
Jimmy, are you all right?
Welcome to the days of yore, Miss Lane.
Days of my? Oh, he means never mind. It's a genuine dungeon-type cell with manacles on the wall and the whole bit. There are few things more dangerous than a crazy person with lots of money.
We're sorry, Sir Arthur. Our quest was a failure.
There's one more chance. The apartment where Olson stays.
With the one called Kent?
Right. It must be searched. Sir Henry, I order you to volunteer.
Speaking as a language specialist, I can't tell you how much that sentence hurts my scholarly sensibilities.
Sir Arthur, I wish to volunteer.
Spoken like a true knight. The quest is yours.
Forsooth, good knight, it may bear thee well to shed thine armor and don a clever disguise, perhaps as a peddler of vacuum cleaners or encyclopedias. No, he'll go in his full armor and what looks like a very expensive overcoat. Guys, if you can spring for all that, you can spring for more authentic looking woolen cloaks. Stop doing things halfway. Remember when the right skeleton key could open most any door? Me neither.
All right, you. Reach. Easy, bud. That tin suit won't stop at 38.
Hold it. Hold it. Don't shoot him.
Careful, Mr. Kent. He's dangerous.
Oh, must be some mistake, boys. This gentleman's a friend of mine.
Friend of yours? We got a phone call that he's dangerous. Warned us to shoot first if he made a move.
Gee, I wonder who made that call. Clark talks them down and assures them that he knows this gentleman and everything is all right, so just run along and have a donut.
I don't know how to thank you, Mr. Kent.
And you can start out by telling me who you are and what you're doing in my apartment.
Oh, I can't. We're sworn to secrecy.
Whoever called the police wasn't sworn to secrecy.
Somebody betrayed me, but I still can't believe it.
Well, you'd better believe it. That somebody's trying to get you killed.
That shook him. He's ready to come back to 1958.
You see, my name is really Oliver Smith. I used to be in the lumber business. But since I retired, my only interest is the SPKD.
SPKD?
The Society for the Preservation of Knighthood and Dragons.
He says it's just a harmless hobby. Clark says it's not harmless anymore. There has to be a reason why one of the others would want you dead. Mr. Smith knows what it is. He's just hesitant to say it.
You see, we're all quite wealthy, and we put all our money in negotiable bonds at the castle to carry on the society.
Now, let me see if I understand this. If anything happens to the three of you, the fourth would inherit the money. Is that correct?
Yes, it would work that way.
So, similar to a tontine, which is an equally stupid thing to do. He tells Clark where the castle is, and Clark says it's time to get out of that armor and be Mr. Smith again. No arguments. Clark starts undressing this guy. File that under sentences you'd never thought you'd hear yourself say, especially in 1958.
No pockets?
No pockets.
That's tough.
You see, it was a little bulky with the rest of my street clothes on underneath the armor.
I understand. It looks a little drafty, too. Fortunately, you have your top coat over here.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. Kent.
Long underwear and that big top coat. How cold is it out there? Clark says go home, lock the door, basically hide until the culprit is caught.
Oh, Mr. Kent, if what you say is true and one of the knights is a potential killer, you should know that Miss Lane and Mr. Olson are being held captive in the castle.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Oh, yeah, your friends are in mortal danger. I almost forgot. How silly of me to let that slip my mind.
Now all I have to do is sound like Sir Henry.
Now all I have to do is sound like Sir Henry.
You are gonna love this. I could not stop laughing. That flying armor tickled my funny bone so hard I had to get up and walk around because I was scaring her. Earlier in the castle, Sir Henry had some directional trouble and said he needed to clean his visor. Superman didn't know that, so by the time he finally lifted it, he had flown several thousand miles the wrong way and was now over Paris.
Checkmate. Beat you again.
Congratulations.
Sir Henry, welcome back. We were concerned about you.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back, Sir Henry.
Did you get it? The cufflink?
I'm afraid not. It just wasn't there. Besides, the police almost caught me in the act.
He asks about the captives, and Arthur says, see for yourself. Maybe they're ready to talk.
But, Sir Henry, have you forgotten the secret panel?
No, of course not. The secret panel?
You don't know.
You're an imposter.
Who are you? What have you done to Sir Henry?
That, gentlemen, I'm afraid, is something you're going to have to discover for yourselves.
Seize him.
He'll play along for now.
Hand to the wall. He mustn't escape.
What did he do?
Like you, he refuses to tell us certain things.
But I still don't remember.
Well, perhaps you will.
Or perhaps in a few seconds it won't matter. Here come the crazy eyes.
He's locked us in.
He has a speaking tube down to the dungeon. He tells them, you can all rot there and the money is mine. The real Sir Henry will be here and will join you soon enough. He calls Sir Henry and says, there's a traitor here. Someone tried to kill me. I have the other two trapped in the dungeon, so get over here quick and help me figure out which one of them is the bad guy.
Sir Henry, you don't know how glad I am to see you.
And you, Sir Arthur, this is an awful thing.
An awful thing, Sir Henry. An awful thing. As I see it, Sir Henry, there's no need for formalities. The quicker, the better. Consequently...
Sir Henry!
Why didn't Sir Henry know he was standing on the trap door? He didn't care because he bought Arthur's story.
Hello down there. I'm sending you a little present. Don't try to put it out. It's impossible.
Gas! Poison gas!
Needless to say, it's time for the Mystery Knight to reveal himself.
Superman! Why? Why did you wait?
Fair question, because it's more dramatic and besides the script says so. That's more answer than she'll ever get out of him. Let's go take care of Nasty McMurder. It shouldn't be difficult because he's clearly not too bright. Six bullets bounce off him, but a sword will cut him down. As I said, not too bright. He'll grab a pike and try again. Superman found a better use for it. There's only one loose end left.
Uh-oh. What's the matter? I remember where that cufflink is.
Where?
Right here.
Oh, no.
I remember now. I wore it so I wouldn't forget where it was.
And even as much as Jimmy waves his arms around, not one of those sharp-eyed knights saw it. So that's the end of the Society for the Preservation of Knighthood and Dragons. And I'll bet they didn't preserve any dragons either. Hey friends, if you enjoyed the video, please click the thumbs up button and let me and YouTube know it. If you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do. And remember, you can become a patron of this channel for as little as $2 a month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.